You know, if you think about Brett Butler, he qualified back in 27th, and to be able to hang around and be a part of the top 10 here with just 6 to go at Daytona, 24-year-old kid hadn't ever seen this place before. This is valuable for him to see all this.
How about Donnie Neuenberger? Really impressed with him. He's just outside the top 5 in that red and white number 6 truck.
There's so many good stories up here in the top 10 as we race toward that checkered flag, but the best story is going to be what these guys up front do. Dennis Setzer's hood's flopping loose there.
At 46 of Dennis Setzer.
Remember, he had damage from that practice crash a couple of days ago.
I hope that thing will hang in there for a few more laps to get a chance to try to win this thing.
Setzer running in the 4th spot. Out in front, Todd Bodine. Timothy Peters just behind him in the 17.
See the hood there? It's precarious. It might hold in there, Phil. It's going to be close.
Looks like it still has at least 4 pins in it. That should hold it.
You know, we saw Todd Bodine jump a little high off turn 4 there. You got to stay down there on that yellow line to hold that lead.
Into the wall coming out of turn number 4. One of the trucks got into the wall. Now he makes the hard left turn. That's the 39 of Ryan Sieg.
Still staying green, guys.
He is off the racetrack. Green flag still out.
NASCAR's looking at the racetrack, still green as of now. They'd love to let this thing finish under green. 5 to go.
Todd Bodine out in front of Timothy Peters. Then it's Jason White, Dennis Setzer, and still trying to make the outside line work is Matt Crafton in 5th.
Do you think Matt Crafton, if he's not able to advance any farther, is he going to say that maybe I waited too long?
Certainly a possibility.
Ray, is the 30 strategy going to work out to win another race at Daytona?
Well, I think they're in the catbird seat there, Rick, no doubt about it, but I wish you could hear Todd Bodine's radio. His spotter is Jimmy Kitchens, and Jimmy's been driving for about 15 years. He's so calm and matter-of-fact, giving him the information. He had told him about Jason White going to the outside. He told him where that second line was working. Very good information coming down from the roof to help Todd Bodine know what's going on behind him when he's out in the front of the lead. Adam?
A little surprising, but for a young driver, Jason White has been a good leader on his radio, and he just came and said, if the 46 will go with me, he will get a Christmas card, referring to Dennis Setzer, who's right behind him, as once again the outside lane starts to rally.
Yeah, Dennis can't go anywhere right at the moment, Adam. They're coming up the outside with Matt Crafton, Nelson Piquet Jr., and Brett Butler pushing hard toward the lead.
Dennis Setzer looked like he might think about peeking in front of that number 1. Here comes Dennis Setzer. He makes the move. 3 laps of racing to go to the outside of that 23. Not going to be able to make it work. Drops back in line, back to 4th. Jason White holding on to the 3rd spot.
Todd Bodine hugging the double yellow line. Just as you mentioned, Mike, he doesn't want to leave an opening down there.
He needs those guys right there, PK and Crafton, really need someone to try to make something happen up there in the front.
This lead pack has separated themselves from the rest of the field, making their way around the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway, coming to the line for just 2 laps of racing to go.
Half car way back to the 17. He's got the 23 and 46.
Oh, Crafton lost a lot of ground there. Now he's hung in behind Stacy Compton. Look at Johnny Benson, 3 wide on the outside.
Nelson Piquet Jr. in the middle. He's able to get back down to the bottom of the racetrack. It's 2 wide back behind. Down the backstretch once again. Time is running out for Timothy Peters, for Jason White, for Dennis Setzer. When will they make their move?
You know, last year Kyle Busch was sitting right where Timothy Peters is, and he couldn't figure out how to win this darn thing. We'll see if Peters and White and those guys can figure out anything to do with Todd Bodine.
A huge run for Stacy Compton in the 60. It looked like that 88 of Matt Crafton gave him a good push.
And then he jumped to the inside behind Setzer.
The white flag in the air. 1 lap of racing to go. Todd Bodine trying to make it 3 in a row from Daytona. Timothy Peters wants to win on a super speedway, running 2nd.
Still in line.
Timothy Peters it'd be ideal if he was a truck length or two behind him, Phil. He can't get a run stuffed right on his bumper. He'll just push Todd.
He needs some momentum.
Down the backstretch.
Look at
Jason White moves out of line. Timothy Peters moved out. Todd Bodine scrapes the wall. Timothy Peters goes to the bottom of the racetrack to take the the lead.
Todd got hit, went high, but kept his foot in the gas. Can he rally from the outside?
Jason's helping him on the outside.
Side by side, coming through 3 and 4. The trial is all that is left. A little contact. Timothy Peters is wild, coming up to the line. Timothy Peters is going to win at Daytona. They crashed behind him. Todd Bodine crossed the stripe in second, got sideways, and now Johnny Benson is in him.
Wow.
What a great job by Timothy Peters.
Timothy Peters took advantage of Todd Bodine sliding up the racetrack.
He got knocked up the racetrack.
And Todd Bodine comes home in second. Timothy Peters wins at Daytona.
Unbelievable. We talked about him coming into his own last year. Well, he put a exclamation point on it tonight.
The 46.
Thanks, guys. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I guess.
Nelson Piquet Jr. finishes 6th. Matt Crafton, with his strategy, comes home in the 5th position. Jason White, our pole winner, was 4th.
Donnie Neuenberger shot down pit road 180 miles an hour, rallied to finish 9th. Great top 10 finish for him, just outside the top 10, Brett Butler in 11th.
Let's
check
take a
this
look
out
at this crowd coming out of turn number 2.
Jason White made the first move. I applaud him for this. He got a run. He said, I'm going somewhere. Timothy said, well, I want to go with you. And he gets Todd, hits Todd in the back, sends Todd up high.
Todd fought back, though, never let off the throttle.
What about Todd? Sideways, heading toward the outside wall. Wide open, baby.
Thought maybe right here Todd might have had an advantage on the outside, but he went a little bit wide, lost about a half a truck length.
And then the reason why Timothy won, look, Dennis Setzer, he's pushing him, giving him the momentum he needed to stay ahead of Todd Bodine.
Another amazing finish from Daytona International Speedway.
That was amazing, Rick. You're right.
And Timothy Peters goes to victory lane in Daytona.
Hey, he knows how to pick them. He lives in Martinsville. He won there. Daytona's the biggest race. Heck, I'll just win there. Those are 2 wonderful wins for that kid. I know DW's smiling too. 17's his favorite number. Every time somebody on the 17 wins, he thinks he had something to do with it.
Another look as they came out of turn number 2 and down the backstretch.
Jason White moves to the outside. Timothy goes to block him, and when he did, he just touched Todd. Todd may have even been going up to the outside to block as well.
You got that right. Todd went up to block. That's how it's supposed to work right there. Everybody just trying to get the real estate that they need to win. Nothing wrong with that racing.
Timothy Peters grabs his 2nd win in the Camping World Truck Series, and how big of a victory this is.
And I thought Todd was going to save that truck right there, and that was going to be an incredible save.
Look at Todd. He's over there trying to get a hold to the side of Timothy Peters to try to side draft him, but Dennis Setzer is right on Timothy's tailgate, pushing him to the victory.
I bet you Timothy's saying, boy, I'm glad Dennis was bump drafting me there. What do you think?
That's right.
That is the 3rd last lap pass at Daytona International Speedway for the Camping World Truck Series. In 05, Bobby Hamilton did it over Jimmy Spencer.
Look at that wad of trucks. Maybe they weren't 3 wide at the finish, but there was how many trucks within a second?
Well, there were 10 trucks within a half a second.
Yeah,
within a half a second, 10 trucks crossed the start-finish line.
Look at this. This is a great shot. Check this out.
There's Timothy. Here comes Todd and Dennis. Almost a photo finish for 2nd. Look at Jason White all up underneath the Todd's truck. And there's Crafton. Nelson Piquet Jr., Stacy Compton. There's Johnny Benson. Johnny's going to take a ride through the grass here in just a second. There's Donnie Neuenberger. J.J. Yaley on the outside with a new team. And there's Brett Butler in 11th place finish.
Look at this glob. You're right, Phil. What a great finish. And Russell smiles.
It does not. It never ceases to amaze me what happens at this racetrack.